Hi everyone, my name is Ron Guth and I'd like to welcome you to the Wow History channel where every week I present a historical topic that hopefully will teach you something you've never known before and hopefully even make you say, wow, I never knew that. This month in America is Black History Month, and I thought it would be appropriate to give you a little history today of the Black History Month. Did you know that before there was a Black History Month, there was a thing called the Negro History Week? This was started in 1926 by a black historian and educator named Carter G. Woodson, who was the second African American to ever receive a PhD from Harvard University. He is known as the father of Black American history, and he's actually a very accomplished and very famous guy, but you've probably never heard of him because he's not really taught in Black history very much. So in 1926, he had been a member of the American Historical Association, and he found that he wasn't even allowed to go to their conferences because he was black. So he decided that I better blaze a trail of my own, and that's what he did. In 1916, he started the Journal of Negro History, and he wrote many pieces on black history, and it's worth following what he's done. Well, he's the one that started Negro History Week. Negro History Week did not get off to a very quick start. Obviously, the times were different. 1926 was a lot more restrictive than today, or 1970 when Black History Month was first formed. But over time, it gained acceptance and it began to be celebrated each year in the month of February. They chose February because that was when two famous Americans had their birthdays. One was Abraham Lincoln, who was the president who, through the Emancipation Proclamation, freed the slaves during the Civil War. And the other is Frederick Douglass, who is another famous African American figure. In 1969, a group of black students and black educators came up with the idea for a Black History Month, thinking that a week is really not enough time to teach black students or even any student about black history. So they came up with the idea for a Black History Month, and in fact, the first celebration of Black History Month in 1970 at Kent State University was actually almost 2 months. It started on January 2nd, 1970, and lasted until February 28th, 1970. In 1976, President Gerald Ford gave Black History Month a real boost when he designated February as Black History Month. He recognized it. And ever since then, without exception, every president has recognized February as the Black History Month. Now, while Black History Month has a good record of teaching American students about Black history in schools, there are some people who argue that Black History Month is actually detrimental, and here's their reasoning. And this comes from Daryl Davis. Daryl Davis is a black musician who has a really wonderful story about how he met with one of the leaders of the Ku Klux Klan and actually persuaded some members of the KKK to leave that organization. Really great story. You can go on YouTube, and he's got a great interview with Joe Rogan, or you can see him on a TED Talk or various other places. Now, he argues that the problem with Black History Month, in his opinion, is that what happens is during Black History Month, students are taught about 5 or 6 main figures. Martin Luther King, of course, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, Rosa Parks, George Washington Carver, Booker T. Washington, and he says by the end of the month, they're done. They've run out of time. They've taught about those figures, and that's all they teach. Well, the problem with that is that every year they teach about the same figures, and there's a lot of famous black Americans, inventors, and people who have made significant contributions to American history who are just sort of go by the wayside. Daryl Davis's argument is that Black history should not be separate. It should be part of the bigger body of American history. In other words, there shouldn't be a white history month. There shouldn't be a black history month. There shouldn't be a Jewish history month. It should be American history. And when you're teaching American history, include all these figures that he references that we just never hear about. Now, where can you find out about some of these figures? Because, as white Americans, we know about the very famous ones. But there are a number of resources out there. Of course, Wikipedia is one, but you have to know what to look for. When I was working on my master's degree in American history, I got a set of books that's called the Encyclopedia of African American History, and these are tremendous resources. This is volume 1 that includes 3 different books, and then this covers the history from 1619 to 1895, from the colonial period to the age of Frederick Douglass. The second volume goes from 1896 to date, and that includes 4 books. Now, these are kind of expensive. They're hard to find. You might have to go to Abe Books or look on eBay or search around for them. But if you can find them, they are tremendous resources for Black history, which is one of my favorite subjects. And I refer to these books very frequently for ideas for the Wow History channel. If you go back to my old videos, I think I've had almost 10 videos on Black history out of the 20 or so that I've already created. So this is a great resource, and I recommend it highly if you're interested in this kind of history. There are other people who have problems with Black History Month. Another one who has echoed Daryl Davis's thoughts is Morgan Freeman. There's a couple interviews on YouTube with him where he also states that Black history should not be relegated to a single month, but should be included throughout the entire year when we're teaching our students. There's another person that I respect highly, and that is Denzel Washington. He's a tremendous actor, and he has expressed his views on racism a couple times on YouTube videos, and I recommend that you go through and see those also. Since this is Black History Month, I'm going to be focusing a lot on Black history, and I'll probably be doing more videos than I normally would do. I usually do 1 a week. I'm going to try to do either 2 or 3 a week because, like Daryl Davis says and like Morgan Freeman say, there are a lot of interesting people and a lot of interesting subjects that we never hear about. So I'd like to bring those to you, and I'll be doing that throughout the rest of this month. So thank you for viewing. If you like this channel and you like the sorts of videos that I'm providing, please hit the subscribe button. I'd like to get to 100 subscribers, and all you got to do is hit the button. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free to you. No one's going to start spamming you, but it really helps me out a lot. So I really appreciate it if you would do that. And I will see you sometime later this week with another topic on Black History Month. And thank you very much for viewing again, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.